Recording. All right. We do a little countdown in 3, 2, 1. Fading in.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the Survivor's Guide to Class 1188. Welcome. My name is Marlon, and sitting to my right is Miss Talia. And our other co-host, Miss Linda, is sitting to my left. And we have a special guest also. This is the first for us. This is the industry professional coming to speak. The First Institute. We are glad to have you, Miss Kimberly Byrne. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. All right, so podcast, we only have so much time, and from what I hear, like you have been out there like killing it. So we want to give you as much chance as we can. So we learning here. Every working professional needs like a demo reel or something like that. So resume. So we want to give you a little opportunity to talk about yourself to our fans, to the people sitting in the back watching. Like, tell us a little bit about Miss Kimberly Byrne.
So I went to Full Sail University, and I was class of 2015. When I was in Full Sail, I was also working for WWE. So I was basically going to school and working for WWE. I started off doing hair and makeup, and I was working for the Divas, for NXT, for Tough Enough. And they also knew that I was in the film industry looking to further that. So someone on the other team came up to me and asked, like, hey, would you want to do photography for the social media team? Okay. So I went from hair and makeup to social media, and that basically helped me kind of get like a little feel of the industry while I was in school. And when you graduate, you're excited, you think you're going to jump in the industry, but that's when kind of like real life hits you. Okay. You can't be as confident that's like, oh, well, I just graduated, I'm going to jump right in. Right. You don't. Right. And I will be completely raw about that. I ended up, searching for jobs, trying my best, doing my research, still studying, still networking. And I maybe had one or two small things here and there, but I had to do probably like a desk job for about like 6 months just to help. And then I still believe it to this day. Word of mouth is the best thing possible. I had one of my friends from Full Sail, hey, they're doing this show in Daytona Beach. They really need some PAs. Come to find out, it was American Ninja Warrior. Okay. And that was my first jump into the industry, and I toured with them for 3 years.
American Ninja Warrior. Yeah. See, that's just how it happens sometimes. Yeah. So I was on your website. You have your own business, yes, right? You want to do a shameless plug real quick on your business?
So I'm a photographer when I'm not on a film set. It's under Kimberly Imagery, and I basically do everything but weddings. Okay. Reason being, I love the film set. When you book a wedding, you're booking that far in advance. Right. I don't know how good of an opportunity of a show I might get on, and I don't want to lose that because my heart is truly in filmmaking.
Right. So were you into photography prior to going to Full Sail?
Yes. So when I was in high school, I did 4 years of photography classes. I looked into going into a photography school. Okay. And at the time, I was with a guy, and I was like, oh, I'll just stay in Pennsylvania, continue to do photography. And let me tell you, don't let no man, no woman hold you back from following your dreams.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do not.
Say it to the people in the back, please.
It's not worth it. I mean, I would not be where I am today if I did not push myself to the extent that I did.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. So that leads it to my next question of like, what really made you make that leap from photography to film? Like, okay, was it like a full jump in, like, I got to go grab this thing, or?
I don't think there was really any jump to it. It was mostly, my brother worked at Full Sail, and he knew the situation I was in Pennsylvania. Okay. I'll be really raw about it. I came through drugs, self-harm, all that stuff back in Pennsylvania, so I wanted to make something of myself. Oh. So when he knew I was looking at photography schools, he was like, listen, you need to get out of that small town. Full Sail, it's a film school. They have photography, but it might be something that you can, find your passion into. Mm-hmm. And I just made the jump. Absolutely. There was nothing that pushed me. It was just something in my soul was like, get out of here. You can do something with your life.
Absolutely.
And that's what I wanted to do.
That's real. That's absolutely amazing message. Like for anybody out there, like going through it, like
It's
that's a
possible.
testament right there.
100%. I mean, if you would have told 15, 16-year-old me, you're an assistant camera operator in a male-dominant field, no. God, no.
Right.
That's crazy.
Not a chance. But then, like, I look to see where I am today, and I'm so proud of where I've come from to who I am today.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think we all kind of got it. Not we all, but everybody has some kind of personal story that might have been holding them
sure.
back. And man, you just have to
sure.
take that step.
Yes.
And you just got to stick with it.
Yeah,
So that's absolutely
And
awesome.
you did mention that it is a male-dominated industry.
100%.
So I just want to know, because it's a male-dominated industry, why is it important for women to be in the film industry?
Because it proves that we are still on the same level, and male or not, higher than us. And that's, I mean, there's been times that I've been on set where I've had a guy that's like, oh, honey, do it this way. And I'm like, oh, no. I was like, listen, we were literally same position, both assistant camera operators. He was no higher than me, no lower than me. Regardless, I'm still going to give you the same respect. But we were both working on something, and he tried to do the, oh, honey. And I was like, we're not going to talk down to me today. And I was like, I respect you as a person, but I know what I'm doing. If maybe you wanted to, give me a different way, possibly make it a little bit easier, that's fine, but don't talk down to me. So my biggest thing is always like, we are on the same level. You're no better than I am. We're all in this industry to make movies, to make TV, to just do what we love. So I just always make sure that as a woman, I mean, I got thick skin, and that's one big thing that as a female you really need in this industry.
You really need. So do you need to have what's the difference between having like a tough exterior and thick skin? Because like I said, this is a male-dominated industry, but do you have to have like a toughness about you in order to navigate, or how does that
A little bit. I mean, I won't lie. There's been times that like I will be tough in a situation. I'll go to the bathroom and cry it out.
Yeah.
I won't even lie about that. I mean, we're emotional people, even males. I've seen it with guys too, where you just get so done. You will be tough in that moment, and then you just need a second to like bring it back down. I've gotten better. When I first got in the industry, I was very timid, very shy, very scared. And then as I've gotten up, I've kind of like had more of the toughness on the exterior, just because I now have learned my worth, and I know what I'm good at. I know what I can do and what I'm capable of.
Well, speaking on the topic of you being in the industry, what is the challenge that you face the most of being a woman in the industry?
So I think one of the biggest challenges is just men not thinking that you have the same knowledge as them, or that like you're capable of, carrying a Pelican or operating one of the cameras. I mean, I've had these big heavy cameras on my shoulders. And I mean, I've even had like where I have two of my DPs where I take the cameras from them, I'm just dual carrying them and I'm holding all of it. And, you've had people that are like, oh, aren't those heavy, honey? And I'm like, yeah, they are, but I got it. I'm good.
Right.
So it's just, it's sad that in this day and age, like you'll still get guys like trying to talk down to you, or just trying to, in a sense, like compete with you. And I'm like, I'm not
absolutely.
competing with you. Like we're on the same level.
Yeah.
Like we're all working on this to be better than what we are.
Yeah. I got a message to guys. Like, we got to do better with that. Like, absolutely. We got to do absolutely better. Look, I'm a veteran. I serve next to women. You know what I'm saying? So I know what women are capable of. Them are my sisters in arms.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? And they work just as hard as everybody else, and it's no different when you come into any other industry.
And I wish all guys would see it that
Yeah,
way.
and I
But
come
it
from
sucks.
strong women, family of strong women, like.
maybe it's a respect thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
A respect
That
thing.
too.
Like we
Yeah.
have the same skills. We're in the same field. Like you said, it's not a competition. We're here to learn and grow.
Yeah.
I respect what you do.
Yeah.
Respect me.
But part of it, too, is still, we're not seeing enough of it. We're not seeing enough women in the industry to change enough minds fast enough. We can bring up the slide. If you turn around and look real fast, here are women cinematography. So the
goodness.
last number got cut off in the year. So that's 2022. Oh, no, it's not cut off. It's just realigned. 2022, 7%. 21, 6%. 2006, 2% of women cinematography. Like,
gracious.
that's pathetic.
That hurts my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
hurts my heart.
And we just need to do better with that.
from 1998 to 2022, it only went up by 1%.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
See, and there's another thing when you go onto a set and a guy sees you, they're automatically like, oh, the makeup room is that way. And I'm like, I'm sorry. What? Like, yes, I used to do hair and makeup, but my heart was no longer in that. And that's when I fully chased the camera department.
Yeah.
But multiple times where the guys were like, oh, makeup's that way or wardrobe's that way. And I'm like,
yeah. Yeah. Sometimes people's biggest
way.
problem is opportunity sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, give them the opportunity, be around it, like, really respect it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, like, you can really see and change it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It changes. Like, women have a voice. Like, film shouldn't be this male-dominated thing where we seeing the same imagery all the time. Like, we need to expand it. Like, and creativity is creativity.
yes.
You know?
I think in the top 100 gross movies from last year, I think it was only 19% of women were directors.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But so, thank you for being in the industry. Thank you for being one of the ones, one of the 7%.
I love
it.
That shows that it's possible.
It is. It definitely is.
Absolutely. So okay, so I gotta switch it up a little bit about talk about like freelance stuff because we're gonna need to learn about that. Like, so we gotta get out there and opportunities come and they go. So. How do you like do your freelance work? Are you like really like, okay, I only work with certain clients? Do you say, okay, well, I charge based on how difficult a client might be or how experienced I am? Or it happens, right? I think maybe.
Not
Or you just-
necessarily per client. Like I would never, if a client was difficult, I'm not gonna do a different rate for that.
Oh.
Just because I know my worth.
Is that frowned upon to do
Well,
that?
just a little bit. So basically, like for me as an assistant camera operator, it just depends. Like if I'm just doing just an AC, so basically, just like changing out the lenses, doing normal stuff, it's one rate. But if you have me doing a first AC, which I'm pulling focus. So you're basically using like a handheld focus puller and that's connected to the motor and you're doing a little bit more work, the rate does go up.
Okay.
Now, if you have me doing like assistant camera operator and media manager, it's also a whole nother rate too. Because then I'm taking all the media, I'm taking it on a computer, I'm dumping all the footage and writing notes on it.
It's the time that's put into it.
Yes. It's the time, the knowledge, and the effort of what you're typically charging.
Right.
Now, I just had an instance where I had a job that was like, so we need you to do assistant camera operator and media manager. But I was a second assistant camera operator, so I didn't have to worry about focus pulling or any of the manual labor, and I was doing media. So typically that was one rate, and they were like, well, our budget is this, but we can give you a kit fee, so you kind of just like work with them to see what the best possible thing is.
Okay.
And in some instances, you can aim a little higher and they'll talk you kind of middle, which works, a little tiny trick. And others, you'll get your full rate and it'll be wonderful and you don't have to ask or pull any strings for it either. But freelancing is wonderful, but it's also it's a very scary thing at the same time. I'm waiting on 4 paychecks right now.
Okay.
Like, you can go from like a net 30, a net 60, a net 90, which means they have either 30, 60, or 90 days to pay you.
Okay.
So I've had several jobs that you go through.
So you got to plan out your budget. You got to plan out your budget, people.
Yes,
Like,
that's a big thing is planning because you never know when your next job will be. You don't know if they're going to cancel. I mean, a lot of jobs from Florida come from LA. You don't know what could happen with gear. I've had stuff from LA. I've had stuff from New York. Either something can happen with gear, something can happen with client. You never really know. So it's just it's a waiting game. I mean, there's been times that like in the industry I'm like I can't do this anymore. I will be 100% honest. Like there's some rough moments where it's like I just want to work. I just want to be on set. And like especially now with the writer's strike going on, it's affecting us too.
Absolutely.
Like no matter what anybody says, I don't care if it originated over in California, it's hitting Florida.
Yeah.
And we're going through it. I mean, I'm usually very well booked and I haven't had anything last week or this week other than my normal photography photo sessions. And I'm just hoping, sending my resume out. Ironically, there's a lot of Facebook groups that people will post for jobs in. You look there too, and then word of mouth, like, hey, I got double booked. Can you take this?
Okay.
So
Sounds like the message is kind of be ready for anything.
yeah, always.
Right? Got to be ready for anything. All right. So thank you for that question. Anybody else have any? I don't want to hog all the questions over there.
When you're on set, what is the most common camera that you would probably use on set, or that you see that they use?
FX7s, honestly.
FX7s. Would you say,
Sony.
because I noticed like you got a pretty like stacked up resume.
Yes.
And you got a lot of equipment on there. So so my question, do you think it's better to kind of be a jack of all trades and like hit every little piece of camera, or get that one camera and just master that thing?
So all the cameras kind of, I mean, in a sense, within like the menu settings, they're all around the same.
Okay.
So jack of all trades is good in each department. Like if you want camera, stay with camera. If you want audio, stay with audio.
Gotcha.
Don't try to be like all over. Sometimes it's good when you're first starting to find like your niche.
Right.
Of like, hey, maybe I want to do audio, maybe I want to do camera, maybe I want to do wardrobe, something else. So like it's good to kind of like bounce around a little bit. Yeah. But once you get set in that department, there's no one real camera that you can like focus on.
Okay.
Because I mean, I've been on shoots where I'm shooting with like a Sony FS7 and a Red Epic.
Okay.
So you're going back and forth.
Yeah.
So you really never know. It's kind of what the client wants as like looks or anything. But it's good to kind of have just a little bit of knowledge of each camera.
Okay.
I won't even lie. I've been on sets with camera operators and we're on Google. Looking
Right,
up manuals.
yeah.
Like,
That makes me feel a little bit
oh yeah,
Absolutely,
100%.
absolutely, yeah.
Because, and that's another thing with like, you know, being on the same team with like anybody in your field. Hey, do you know how to get to this menu, or do you know how to like get to this setting? Oh yeah, I got you. It's just working together is such a big thing, especially because I may know the camera really well, but either my operator or like someone else is just having a little brain fart. So it's good to know a little bit about everything. And like you learn as you go.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. All right. So students, I hope you take something for that. Right. What I got out of it was experiment in the beginning, and then hone in and find your niche and work on that.
And also working together too, and like collaborating is a good point
Yes.
that I took from that, because network, like brainstorming, like it's also, I feel like it's better to brainstorm with other people versus like brainstorming by yourself.
Yeah. Especially others in the industry. I mean, you can bounce ideas back and
Yeah.
forth for so long.
There's that, and like, don't be afraid to really ask for help.
No.
Honestly.
And that's one big thing that I had an issue with in high school. I was always afraid to ask for help. And once I got in the industry, I mean, it may seem like a stupid question, but there's never a stupid question.
Right.
Like, I've gotten closer to camera operators from just being blunt, be like, hey, I don't know how to do this, but I want to learn. Can you teach me? Can you help me? Is there any advice of just like...
It's more than willing. They're like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Let me show you my talent.
Yeah, if you like, you know, kind of open up a little bit and be like, I want to learn this, but I'm unsure. And because you're just, you know, you're knocking down your walls a little bit and showing them that, the willingness is more.
Yeah.
Just to be like, you want to learn it, you want to understand, I got you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I got another question. I've been waiting to ask this one. I was hoping y'all was done with y'all questions before I started.
Sit like a little kid.
All right. So you've done like this is set talk. So you've done some scripted sets, right? You've done some unscripted sets. All right. So do you have a preference? Like, cause like sets can get kind of chaotic, right?
Yeah. That's an understatement.
Right.
Depending which show or whatever you're relating to, it
Right.
depends.
Okay. Let's start just with scripted versus unscripted. What would you say?
I mean, I do love unscripted just because it's raw and it's more interesting to kind of see how it plays out. But in a sense, like everything is a little bit scripted. Like everything has a little bit of scripted in it, no matter if you want to admit it or not.
Okay.
Even like reality TV shows and stuff.
I get that. Yeah. I get that.
They have to stay on track somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you did one of my favorite shows.
Okay.
Is Beachfront Bargain Hunt.
Okay. Yep, I did that
It's
one.
one of my favorites. Yeah. As soon as I saw it on your resume, I was like, oh yeah, we got
He was going on
get
about
her.
it.
We gotta get her in here. Beachfront Bargain Hunt. I just sit there HGTV. That's my
was a
whole
rough one.
vibe. That was a rough. That was a rough one.
Being in the sand with camera gear.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, I forgot about the sand.
Because you have to think your tripod legs when you extend it, and then you get sand up in the tripod. And you're trying to open it.
Oh, you don't have to explain this to me. I have
just
a
a
wife
lot.
that like going to the beach. It's like I'm carrying camera equipment, and I got coolers and tents and all kind of
I mean,
stuff. So like,
the
do
sand
something.
literally
Yeah.
gets in
Everywhere.
and like you got to be careful even using like a can of air to get the sand out because you're just pushing it further in.
Right.
So like, the show is fun itself, but just like thinking of taking camera equipment into this, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. I would have pulled up in like some kind of dirt bike or something. I don't know.
You know what Mr. Albert did?
Huh? What do you do?
You don't remember?
Oh,
Is that what he showed?
we went for that swim. Oh, the off-roader, my bad. I got stuck. Yeah, on the off-roader, yeah. The fun part of filming. Okay, my other question is, do you have I know you have a crazy story, but just one crazy set story.
Oh gosh.
Just so people can really start to understand what this world is that they're about to enter in.
I mean, the only crazy set story would have, and of course, once I say the name of the show, it's gonna make sense. Moonshiners.
Moonshine. Oh, that's another. Hey, look.
See,
I rock with
I've never seen
moonshiners
it, so I
too.
don't know.
You never seen one? Oh,
Girl.
they up in the
never seen
Appalachian.
it.
Where they at?
So,
Like you up there with them?
so Moonshiners is you're a crew of 4.
Okay.
You have a shooter producer, you have a shooter, you have your AC, and you have your PA.
Okay.
Now, typically as the AC, I'm also sometimes shooting when my producer is also flying a drone. And then sometimes the PA is also kind of helping too. And also the AC helps with audio. So, it's a little bit of
Just a little
everything.
bit of everything, yeah.
But again, it's a crew of 4.
Right.
So I've been in like Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia.
Yeah.
We ended up in Kentucky. We have a shiner in Louisiana. And I mean,
Really?
again, it's a crew of 4 people, 2 cameras. You're in the woods helping these men basically go through the woods and
It's wild.
Watching
I love that
them make
show.
shine
Do they really
and-
be hiding from the people like that, from the police?
And the police pull up and they're like,
I've watched
Oh,
these men
no?
run, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they get up out of there. They get up out of there.
like I've
yeah.
watched them run. I have run from a
Right.
snake. I have run from a bear. Like I have gone slip and slide in the mud straight down the mountain. So
that sounds
But y'all not ready.
it's been a minute.
Y'all not ready.
Like yes, I may.
you and Mr. Albert.
I may look
I
like this
seen
right
it.
now, but when I'm in the woods, no. There's like twigs sticking out of my. But I did it for 3 years, so I can't say much.
You did Moonshiners for 3 years?
I did.
Wow. So
I
then it had
started
to
off
be.
as a PA and worked up to an AC.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
That sounds like it's worth it. Well, maybe.
It was fun. It was fun.
Did you learn how to make the mash and all of that? I really
may
want to
have
do that
some
one
stash.
day. Yeah, you may have a little mash? All right, we'll talk. We'll talk.
Y'all will. I can't be a part of that conversation.
No, you cannot. All right. So we're here in Orlando. You are from Pennsylvania, right?
Yes.
All right. So do you believe like Orlando is a good spot? You know, we got a couple of
It's
films.
decent.
Yeah, a
It's
couple of
not-
good schools here.
Yeah.
Shout out to First Institute. I know you shouted out your school earlier.
Yes.
So First Institute, Mr. Hilt, Mr. Albert Hilt.
But would you say that Orlando's a good place for photography or film? As the
Decently.
industry? Okay.
It's not terrible. And what I've learned is that like yes, Atlanta has work. Yes, LA has work. Yes, New York has work. But coming from here and then going into a big city like little fish, big pond, and you're just throwing yourself out there. So connections is a very, very big thing. Like when I did American Ninja Warrior, the same production company that did that was a production company in LA, which helped me get a job for Titan Games, and I was a personal assistant for The Rock on that one. And then someone on that set heard about me and they owned a film company in New York, which got me Moonshiners, Beachfront Bargain Hunt Renovations, Dirty Mutter Truckers, multiple different shows with different companies. So like Orlando's good, but we don't have our film incentive. That's what's hurting us right now.
I think the biggest thing is don't hold yourself back just to the one state. Kind of like take the opportunity, even if it's outside of Florida.
Oh yeah. I've been traveling for a while. I think last year was my first year that like I did not leave Florida, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room then, Atlanta, because everybody is flocking to Atlanta. Everybody want to be in Atlanta. We got Hollywood going there. We got Tyler Perry there. I just learned about 50 Cent is opening a studio there. Disney is there with the Marvel stuff, and I think the people that created Harry Potter have a studio there also. That's like 5 studios.
They're moving up. I mean, I don't doubt it.
So is that something that's on your like to-do list, like conquer Atlanta like everybody else, or you just
I'm kind of going with the flow.
going with the flow?
I'm going wherever work can take me. Like, I have one of my best friends is in Atlanta. Sometimes the work is good, sometimes it's not.
Okay.
It's just like it is here. But Atlanta is just, it's so chaotic that it's like there's not enough work for as many people that are migrating there.
Right.
So, I mean, I would love to go to one of the studios. Like, Tyler Perry's been on my list. Definitely want to see that, especially for how he did everything for all the crew members that worked there during COVID, how he put them up and like literally took care of his crew set. That's a reason that I want to at least go there and see the studios and try to at least work there. Absolutely. There's certain shows like Walking Dead, would love to get on the set. There's certain shows that are in Atlanta that I just want to see how the film sets are built up and made, because we don't have the area in Florida where stuff can just be left up.
Right.
So a lot in Atlanta or surrounding areas, I mean, these sets get left up and you don't even know what could be shooting on there. There could be something completely different than what it was built for.
Yeah, absolutely. So, oh man, I had a follow-up question about Atlanta. Now I can't remember it. It's getting old.
I haven't done any work in Atlanta,
that's what I was going to say. No, I didn't have a question. In Canada? No, I didn't have a question. I did want to say something. We were talking about Atlanta, and people wanted to go up there to see. Now, you can go up there to see. If you can't get work, you can always get extra work.
Always.
Always. It's only like $10 an hour or something like that. They're going to take up 12 hours of your day, but you will work in Atlanta.
And you get fed.
And you get fed. So don't let that hold you back now. You can get some extra work in Atlanta. And it can be consistent work.
Yeah. One of my friends was on like 3 seasons of The Walking Dead as an extra. So
yeah, absolutely. I've done 3.
And she lives in Florida.
I'm interested in that, doing some extra work.
Doing a little bit of extra work? Yeah. That was my first time in front of the camera. They like, blue shirt, walk over there. And I'm just walking back and forth. Blue shirt. My wife still call me blue shirt. I'm a celebrity around my part. You can call me blue shirt anytime you want to. Wear a blue shirt. Put a blue shirt on. Call me that. All right, let me stop. All right. So, but do you like long-term goals or any like ambitious projects that? We got Mr. Ambitious in the room with us, Mr. Alvin. You know he's ambitious, right?
I'm fully aware.
Every project.
I mean, I'm on the same page as him.
In 30 minutes or less. Like
the only reason that I missed a project with him is because I was on crutches, and I'm like, listen, I want to be there, but I cannot operate a camera on crutches. Do we have a wheelchair? Because trust me, like, and I'm a klutz. That's how I injured myself. But when I have a camera, I am as graceful as can be. Like when I was on American Ninja Warrior, I got the nickname Graceful Giraffe. Because like literally had a name tag and all, because I'm tall, but God forbid I'm holding a piece of equipment, I'm very graceful. God forbid I trip or anything, because especially when we were in Vegas filming the finales, dirt lot, and I tripped over a forklift holding like a lens or something. I was so very graceful about it. So that's how I earned my nickname.
All right. But as far as the work goes, you serious about it? You just willing to go where it takes you?
I love the camera industry. I love the film industry. I mean, I've been a little bit of everywhere. I mean, there was a time where I was working on Moonshiners and I got a phone call. It's like, hey, can we fly you out to Mexico tomorrow? And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? They were like, our AC ate something bad. We desperately need someone out here. Packed a bag, and I went to Mexico for work.
Wow.
And that was my first, like, out of the country trip. Like,
Wow.
by myself. And I was just like, all right, let's get it.
Any given
I mean,
moment.
I've done that with multiple jobs. Like, I've flown to LA. I've gone, like, all over. I mean, did Minnesota, Indianapolis, multiple states. And wherever work can take me, if it's, you know, a good rate, if it seems like it would be beneficial to the industry in my career, why the heck not?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But I don't have like a true my main goal. I want to be a full-time camera operator. That's about it.
Okay.
But
that's
other
a
than
goal.
that, I'm going for whatever I can find and whatever I can learn. Every set is a different learning experience.
Absolutely.
And I take everything with a grain of salt and just take all the information in as best as possible. You meet new people, you network with different people. I mean, I just met a camera operator last week, and she's a director of photography. She's from Japan. And she literally goes, have you ever filmed in Japan? I said, no. She goes, do you know any Japanese? I said, I'll learn if you want to take me over there. Like, I mean, there's multiple people that I've met that are like, hey, if we do this international trip. And I was like, sure. I was like, I'll adapt, I'll work.
Yeah,
Like,
hey, if you go, take my son with you. For real, he know a little Japanese. He know a little Japanese. Shout out to Cam. He'll go with you. He ready. He been ready to go. He waiting on me to get
I have a
his seat.
question though. So let's say you weren't doing this kind of work. Do you see yourself doing anything else outside of camera work or in the film industry?
No.
No.
To be completely honest, if I did not make the jump that I did, I probably would not even be on this earth. If I still stayed in Pennsylvania in the area that I was doing the things that I would not be here. I can
That's
tell you that
powerful.
right now.
That's powerful.
That's why I push myself to the extent that I do. Because I look back at younger me who was doing the stupid crap, who was doing the self-harm, who was with a guy that didn't give two craps about me, thinking that he loved. No. I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for my past and if I didn't push myself to the extent that I did. The film industry, it's not easy. You have to push yourself. You have to put in the work. But it is so worth it. Like, you could wake me up early in the morning. It's like, hey, we have stuff to do. You wake me up for a film set, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to see who I can meet, who I can network with, what this documentary, this show is going to make of it.
That's how you know your heart's really in it.
100%.
Yeah.
It
Not
really
you're supposed
is.
to do it.
That's called
And that's
doing
exactly why when Albert contacted me, I was like, I would love to come and talk to people.
Shout out to Mr. Albert.
Because, like, even that, like, I'll be real personal for a second. I'm going through a divorce, and this is the week that I got married. And I was like, I could sit home and mope, or I can come and inspire people. And that's what I wanted to do. I'm like, why? I was like, that's just another chapter. I can inspire people to show them, like, you can go through stuff, but you can use that to build your platform to make who you are today.
Absolutely. Okay, so that whole statement makes this next question a little harder. I think Linda gave me this. You asked me on one of the podcasts, what would
evil
I
eye.
tell my 18-year-old self?
Oh, okay. So I'm the youngest in the class. That's why I asked.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also had just turned 19, so I was like, so what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
I mean, I didn't turn 21 until I graduated college, so literally 3 months out of high school, I was still 18, and I went to college, and I didn't graduate until I was 21.
Yeah.
That's not bad though.
No,
So
But-
what would you tell that young lady now?
don't give up.
Don't give up. All right. She didn't,
Oh.
by the way.
She did it. You just gotta
Absolutely.
keep it pushing, because that's literally it. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Always is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, this has been a great
good.
interview.
That's really
Absolutely.
inspiring.
Thank you for coming. I forgot to shout out the school. We always got to give First Institute its props.
You did.
5 minutes ago.
I shouted out the school. I
You were like,
did.
shout out First Institute because she shouted out her old school, and I'm like,
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. My official shout out is where creativity meets career at First Institute.
We got another slide we did for you. We got some questions to ask you about this slide.
Yeah.
One more slide.
Okay.
car.
Oh, my baby.
Oh, your baby. That's your baby.
See, now you say I was crazy for calling my car baby.
That's my baby.
That's your baby.
That's my baby.
Okay.
I worked my ass off for that thing.
Okay.
That was my gift to myself.
Okay.
What?
I had 8 straight months of just assistant camera operator jobs, and I was doing so good. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. I need an
Right.
adult car.
That's your reward.
That was my reward.
Yeah.
So
That's
into
your
cars.
first Oscar.
I love it.
So what got you into cars?
I don't know.
Hey.
One of my boyfriends from high school had a Subaru.
Ooh.
Fell in love with it ever since. And then I had a Forester. And then my ex-husband got me into cars, and it was just,
Nonstop.
it got bad. It's expensive, and I mean, I love that thing. I truly do. That is my happiness. And I mean, and what sucks is I don't even take pictures of my own car. Like, I'm so terrible about that. Like, doing photography and film work for myself, I'm so bad at it. But
Someone else?
yeah, but outside of film work, that's where my heart is.
Okay.
That's
so
my calm.
Doesn't she have like little designs on the side?
I have
from what I
little,
saw?
yeah, I have little hearts that go up the side of it.
Can you get a better picture?
She's cute. She's in the parking lot. Y'all can see her after.
Oh, just sending my way out there.
So this car represents something a little bit more.
I think it represents just my calm.
Just your calm.
That's my calm and my happiness. Like when everything is just chaos, I can go for a drive or I can go and work on her, and that's just.
Yeah. But you got introduced to a couple things by guys. So, cautionary tale, guys. Don't introduce your lady to nothing, because you going to be gone and your thing's still going to be with her. That's just how it works sometimes. Bad advice. It's bad advice. But, you know,
I mean,
feel
I don't
that
know.
sometimes.
I
Like,
mean, fair game.
like I would be like upset if if I got my girl in the football and like now she a bigger football fan than I am. Like I would be
I
like,
mean,
in
my
my
ex is
feelings
just mad that
about
my
that.
car's faster than him and I can outdrive him, but that's none of my business, so.
That's that equality. I'm just saying how we get sensitive sometimes, right? You can be sensitive about something.
Listen, just like I said, to be a female in this industry, you gotta have thick skin, you gotta be a little bit spicy, a little bit sassy.
A little bit.
Somehow that's
Look.
respect.
Yes.
Don't take no mess.
No.
Don't take no mess. Man, so we ran through all our questions. Did we get through everything?
I think we had one last one.
What's it? This was an amazing interview. Like for
Yeah.
our
Yeah, so
first
far.
industry person to
Love
come
that.
in and really be able to put on like you put on for us, like we really appreciate that.
I think
Absolutely.
the last question would be like, do you have any parting advice?
I think the only parting advice is just keep pushing through. There's gonna be rough patches. There's gonna be times where the work is hard, the days are hard, but you know, every morning you wake up and it's a new day on set. I mean, nothing's perfect. My career isn't perfect. There's been times that like, you know, cards have malfunctioned. I've dropped something, broken something. It happens.
Yeah.
But when your passion is truly in the industry, it makes it all worth it. I mean, I've gone home after a long day of set and just cried. It's gonna happen.
Right.
There's hard days. There's, you know, just hard jobs in general. But then I look back at it and I'm like, okay, what lesson did I, you know, learn from this? Or what could I have done better for the next job? So, like, take everything as a learning experience. Take everything with a grain of salt. Keep pushing through. Have tough skin. Don't let anybody talk down to you. I mean, it's just, I'm going to be as raw as possible. It's hard. It is very hard. The industry, I've watched people that I graduated with that just fell off. And it sucks because, you know, you spend so many years with them in school and learning, and then you don't see them on set again.
Yeah.
And there's been times that, like, I graduated with someone and I saw them for the first time on set last month.
Yeah. And
it was amazing.
That breakthrough sometimes is just a little bit away.
Yeah.
And sometimes people stop before they get to it.
Yeah. But even when it gets rough, there's gonna be those lows.
Yeah.
Just push through.
Push it.
Absolutely.
You just have to.
That's
That's
good.
literally it.
That's
Because
good.
I promise you, it's worth it. I mean, look where I'm at today. And I've been through some stuff. Like, not just my past, but just in the industry
Right.
of going through the different things, of starting as a production assistant. I mean, you're basically doing the grunt work for the entire set, to being like a camera utility, which you're doing the grunt work for all of the camera team, to second AC, which you're just helping, to actually being a first AC, and sometimes I operate the camera. But if I did not, pave my way of going through the steps up and just pushing and pushing and be like, okay, it was a rough day, lesson learned. We'll start again tomorrow. You just got to keep going. That's literally it. And as long as you keep going, have that good mentality, keep your head high, you're good.
Okay, awesome. Well, I want to give you a minute before we finish out to do another shameless plug, whatever you want to do, social media or your website or whatever. We had a few people join us in the room. We'll give you a second and see. I want to see if there's any questions in the back before I give you your minute. So, guys, is there any questions for our guests here?
I just got here, so I'm not very familiar, but do you work with audio at all? Because everybody here is from the RAPS recording arts and show production.
Okay.
So what have you dealt with with audio, or have you seen anything that has been like, I don't know, things like do's and don'ts?
Yeah.
People that you know in the audio like industry, like that you work with.
So as an assistant camera operator, typically you're like besties with audio, to be completely honest.
Okay.
Because when an AC is setting up the camera, obviously audio is going to have to come in and put their pack on the camera. Sometimes they need to go into settings and whatnot. And, an AC is going to know the settings better than audio. So typically, like on a set, one of the first people you're going to want to find is audio as your AC, or even your operator, who will probably tell you where your AC is. A lot of my audio friends always have like a good amount of kits. I know one thing they have always told me to is if you have like X amount of client, like maybe 2 or 3, always bring extra of literally everything. And especially when like miking females, just be very vocal about it. I know that's one thing that like some guys get like weird about because of like going up their shirt and whatnot. They know what's happening. Just be vocal. And if you're uncomfortable, there's no issue asking a female. I've mic'd people in wedding dresses before because the male audio guy like wasn't comfortable with it. But I mean, audio and camera are literally like besties. But just always, don't be afraid to speak up. Like, God forbid something happened with audio, or like if they rolled quicker than you did, do not be afraid to speak up. That is one thing that I can tell you. Because I've watched a DP get into an argument with audio because audio is like, I tried speaking up, but nobody heard me. So always speak up. Regardless, audio is one of the most important things. So speak up. Don't be afraid to like ask questions or do anything, and just be good friends with your camera peeps.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
How much do they involve, like on the sets you're on, how much is the audio considered? Is it like, okay, we'll deal with it, or like y'all really?
No, audio, that's not something you could fix in post.
Right.
God, no. Audio is literally right up there, if not a little bit higher than camera, because if you don't have good sound, no one's going to watch it. Silent films aren't really in anymore.
Exactly. All right. So always show your love to your audio people when you're on set. You just teaching all kind of lessons today.
I try to.
Right. So I guess last we have your plugs. You have social media and those things. You know what Twitch is?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
I don't.
All right.
I don't Twitch though.
All right. You don't Twitch?
No.
Oh, twitching is the thing nowadays.
Do you Twitch, Marlon?
No, ma'am, I don't. But I hear it's nice. I hear it's lovely. All the Twitchers out there.
Is that what they call them?
Twitchers? I think so.
Mr. Albert, do we call you Twitchers?
Streamers.
There we go.
Streamers. Oh, my bad.
Twitchers.
Okay. That's a new one.
Hey, look, y'all
You
supposed
just
to be.
made that up.
Y'all,
Twitchers?
What are we supposed to be, Marlon?
y'all
The
supposed to be
Twitchers.
helping me out
No.
with this technology phraseology. They had me too confident is what it is.
Fair.
I got too
It's okay.
I
confident.
can give you a
happens.
quiz.
Well, not right now, not on camera. Would be an epic fail. All right. But anyway, do you have anything you want to share? Like,
I don't think so. We covered a lot.
okay.
It's just
All right. One last plug for your business and how people, if they want to network with
Do
you.
you got
or
an
anything.
Instagram?
so
or-
my Instagram is AC_Kimberly Amber. It's fairly new because I didn't realize how many people will just use Instagram and not Facebook.
Yeah.
Because I network a lot on Facebook. So
Okay.
like my Facebook is under Kimberly Amber, and I have like all my work stuff on there. There's tons of Facebook groups that I found work in, which is weird but amazing.
Okay.
And then other than that, my photography stuff is Kimberly Amber Imagery, and I'm located in Deltona for that. But yeah.
All right, all right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate
Of
you
course.
coming by
Thank you guys
and,
for
and
having
speaking
me.
with us. And that's our show. That's our show this time. Thank you for joining in to our podcast, The Survivor's Guide to Class 1188. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you,
you.
Linda, and thank you to Leah. And we are out.